Hello, everybody, and welcome to our panel. And I have got 5 roses and 1 thorn. We were joking about that earlier. That is not. We might have it the opposite way around. But welcome, everybody. So hi, Sally, Burge, Dylan, Leslie, and Angela. Yay! Super.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki. Okay, well, we're going to get straight down into it. Okay, so the first person is Sally. Okay, right. So your first question are, you talked a lot about the principles that affected your life. Which is the main principle that's helped you with your life? Which would, if you had to say one of them, what would be the most important?
So I'm referencing the talk that I did. The mindset of love, I think, is probably the most important because everything pings from how we perceive ourselves. And I know I've been in certain situations and certain times in my life when I was not loving toward myself, and I felt that I wasn't worthy of things. And to be able to change that mindset to one of worth and self-love is transformative. Actually, it's the most important thing, I believe, starts with how we perceive ourselves, because that reflects how we interact with everything and everyone around us.
Okay, thank you. Fabulous. Okay, so if you'd like to sort of mute yourself, we'll go on to Burge. I've just muted everybody because there was quite a lot of echo. So, hi, Burge. Do you want to unmute yourself? Because I've just muted everybody because of the background noise.
I'm here. Hi.
Okay. Fabulous. Hi. Okay, so during your talk, you were talking about affirmations. This lady, Beverly, was saying, what is the best affirmation to bring love into your life? What's the best affirmation that you can to bring love in?
I wish we'd had these questions before.
Okay, I'm sorry. I put you on the spot now. Okay.
I'm kidding. What's the best affirmation to bring in love? For me, it is all about understanding that I have a purpose, and that I basically, if I can know that I make a difference, that I matter, and that I'm important, then everything else, that kind of encompasses everything, and that there's a reason why I'm here. And so being purposeful, intentional, and being able to allow yourself to receive everything that you desire and that you deserve, I think is the bottom line. Is if you can contribute somehow, all service is service to self.
Great, thank you. You recuperated well. That was superb. Well done. Absolutely. You've done this thing before then.
A little bit.
Yeah, great stuff. Thank you. Yes, what we're very, very lucky, because all the people on this panel have had a lot of experience, and it's great to bring them all together. And I know quite a lot of you have messaged me saying that you're going to be busy on Saturday night and Saturday. So no problem. Again, you'll be able to receive it in the recorded video. Okay, so we are now on to Dylan. Hi, Dylan. Okay, so the first question for you is that Samora said that she was a minister and she has problems not getting people to pay for her services, but they think that God should be paying her services. So how would you suggest that she should be able to draw the money towards her?
So it's a great question, and thank you for having me. Just brilliant to be on with so many beautiful souls. So thank you all for being here and holding this space open. I think it's a really good question, and it boils down to taking on a responsibility. We have a responsibility as soulful leaders, as spiritual leaders, if that's the label we want to give ourselves, but certainly soulful leaders. I think we have a responsibility to help others see money as a flow of love and as a force for good and as fuel for impact. And a lot of that boils down to kind of, you can't lead by instruction, you must lead by inspiration. And when they see that you have a destination for the money, when they see that you have a purpose for the money that's coming into your life, they see you as a conduit of that money, or a conduit of the love, a conduit of wisdom, a conduit of God's word. Well, money is no different. And so when you are able to share with them what the destination of that money is, so they're absolutely clear that it's not going to go to, you know, your 5 Boeing 777s, as has been the case in some ministries I know out in the US, you know. So when they see that you've got a destination for it, when they are involved in the flow of money as a love, the use of money as a force for good, then I think that they have no problem exchanging that love and that good and that impact with you. You know, certainly in our community, we have a system whereby on every program, whether it's a free program or whether it's a paid for program, there is always the opportunity for participants to vote on which project funds will go to. And if it's a free program, those funds come directly out of our budget. If it's a paid for program, then it's a percentage allocation from the services that are being paid for. And that might range from anywhere from 1%, 2%, 5%, 10%. The percentage doesn't actually matter. But once people know that they're getting involved in this project, like the Love Money Miracle, for example, the last one that we just had, you know, the money from there, it's a free program. So our budget will be going to feed families in Nepal. I don't know what they'll pick for the next one. It might be water pumps in Peru. Like it could be anything. But once they see a destination for that money, once they see you living the truth of money as a flow of love, of money as a force for good, as money as a fuel for what I call scaling spirituality, they find peace with the idea of exchanging money for services. And so it boils down to education, and it also boils down to inspiration, I feel. And it's not an overnight journey at all. You know, this message that I deliver into this community, it's sometimes, like I said in my talk, sometimes grates with a large section of the community, because those money traumas are so deeply held and so commonly felt or ignored that it takes time to get under the surface of the skin and get to those wounds, let them heal. So I think it's a lifetime mission for us all. I really do. And the risk is, of course, if we don't take on that mission, the risk is that we continue 7.8 billion people, 7.8 billion of our brothers and sisters continue to be impacted by an economy that is built on the values of fear and scarcity and greed. Whereas it's our responsibility to rebuild, to re-energize that economy with the energies of courage, of connection, of creativity and compassion. So it's our responsibility, I think, to educate and to inspire. I hope that helps in some way.
Preach, brother, preach.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, Dylan. Thank you. Okay, we're on to Leslie now. Okay. And Mary is asking, she wants to be planting some herbs in her garden. Okay, so to be able to maybe make some potions or things. What do you suggest? Are there any herbs that are actually the basis for potions and for?
I think the first thing is to make sure what is readily available in your own country. I don't know where Mary's from, but there are many. Oh, she's in England. Well, then we have many herbs in England, don't we? But, you know, the culinary ones that sort of, if she's got a garden sage, you can have, you know, the hardy ones. Start off with that sage, rosemary, the oregano, the thyme, fennel, all those types of herbs are really good ones to start. Because, of course, you know, we talk about potions, but, of course, herbs do give their magical element as well as their culinary and their medicinal element from using them in cooking and teas, etc. So she can start with that as her first step and grow those, get used to knowing what climates, what soils, how they cultivate, and learn to actually connect with those herbs, because the softer ones, the basils, also the flowers, of course. You've got calendula, marigolds, which we're going into spring in England in the Northern Hemisphere, and they are very prevalent in that time and very, useful in medicinal and magical herbalism. So start with easy things. Start with the ones that, that you've seen in other people's gardens, that, if you've gone walking in an English country sort of village, you'll see the colour as spring and summer comes along, and that they grow. And then start, lavender, of course, is another one. And there's, in England now, we've got lots of lavender fields where they do organic lavender. Especially in Kent, there's a beautiful farm just south of Westerham, if I remember rightly, East Peckham. It's and they have amazing varieties. They've got pinks, whites, lavenders, deep purples, and they have also, as I say, they're organic, and she can go start there and get little cuttings. There's lots of nurseries in England that she can get organic cuttings. So yeah, start with the easy stuff, and then sort of as she gets a feel for it, as she relates to the medicine that the herbs are talking to her with, then go into the more gentle and the ones that need nurturing more.
Great, thank you, fabulous. Okay, we are on to Angela. Okay, Betsy is asking, can you tell us more about the third ray, please? No, you need to unmute your mic, sweetheart. Your mic.
At the bottom, Angela?
No, I think she's got it. I've got it for her.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. No, I tried and it wasn't allowing me to. Hey ho. And I thought we'd got past Mercury retrograde. So there we are anyway. About which rays in particular? Is she just talking about the third ray?
Yeah,
Was
because
she
she heard that
really
music
interested
that
in the third ray?
you were playing, and she was wondering. Yeah, she sort of said, what's the significance of the third ray, and
Okay.
as opposed to any other ray, and why?
Okay. Yeah. When you can do a search on Google and you can find the 7 sacred rays. There are actually more than 7, but there are 7 in. There's quite good information about the first 7. So the third is the ray of cosmic love, which is why I chose to take you there today. How can I describe it? So the light of the divine is the same as the spectrum of light. So a rainbow are the 7 main colours of the spectrum of light, and each of those rays has a different energy. Each of those rays has a different master, has different angels, and feels different, has different properties, and each of the rays brings with it different gifts. So, as I said, the third ray is about working with cosmic love, with divine love, with love of the divine mother, love of the divine father. And you can move through then to the 7th ray, which is all about transformation, the transmutation and alchemy and magic. So there are lots of different aspects of, if you like, the human experience that you can find on each of the different rays. And I'm in the middle of a book on them, and I work with Saint-Germain is one of my the collective that I channel, and he's very keen that this information is out there in a much simpler form for the 21st century, because there's lots of information out there. A lot of it is quite unwieldy, if you like, because it came through the Theosophists at the end of the 19th century and through Elizabeth Prophet in the 20th century, and it just needs to be a little bit simpler, because we we can all access each of these rays, and they bring us tremendous gifts, each and every one of them. So I hope that's answered her question. Yeah, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with sitting and asking to be connected to either the master or the angels of specific rays when you do your own meditations and go to bed. There's lots of them around. There's lots of pre-recorded meditations around. Find the one that fits with your energy. And there's more on my Facebook page as well about the rays and ascension numerology. That is a completely different subject, but it'll help you understand which of the divine rays that you've chosen to be born under in this lifetime. So yeah, I put up a free workshop on that quite recently. So anyway, that's loads. Hope that helps.
Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, so we're just going to go round and have one more question each, and then we're going to go quickly round, and each of you is going to say something that you'd like to say about yourselves, about what you could offer people and things like that. Okay, so we'll just go quickly round again with another question each, and then we'll go straight on to knowing more about you all. Okay, so we are now back to Sally. Okay, so Sally, right. Have you got something that helped your spirituality? What could you, Andrea wants to know that she wants to progress more faster, you know, deeper spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that you could suggest that would help her do this?
Yes. So several things, and it depends on specifically what it is she's looking to accomplish and why. I think our reasons for doing things are important, just as what we do, right? And there is a whole series of steps that we can take that will help us deepen our spiritual understanding. And it helps to understand that it's part of our development, and yet a lot of that development becomes stunted because it's not taught readily, right? We don't learn these things in schools or churches or any place else, spiritual communities. But there is a whole process to learning and evolving spiritually. The number one step is know yourself. Know what it is that you are all about. The question I love to ask is, we do so many things. We have so many roles, and I'm a lawyer and a real estate broker, and I'm a this and I'm a that, and a parent and a spouse, and who am I when I'm not doing all those things that I do, right? The ultimate question is, who am I when I'm not doing that? And so I would recommend to her, to anyone, ask yourself that question. What is the ultimate truth of you? And how can you express that gift of you to the world? Because that's what we're here for, right? To express our gift to the world, to the universe, and to transform the world through the transformation of ourselves. It all starts with self-knowledge. So ask that question: who are you when you're not doing that? Nikki, I think you're on mute.
Wow, there is a lot of energies around. I pressed that twice. Anyway, never mind. We are going to be on to Burge, and your question is actually very similar to Sally's. Obviously, you've been in this field for many years. If there was something that you could say to someone who was on the spiritual path.
Oh, we lost it.
Ooh.
I'm sure she'll come back. So I'll just answer her question while she comes back. Yes. Okay. So I'm assuming it's how do I guess it was become just basically how do I find out who I am and connect spiritually? My thought is the spiritual emotional connection is really important. And so I really deal in with the subconscious beliefs of people on an emotional level and how that connects to the spiritual level, because we are human beings and that is part of our experience here is the emotion. And part of what, can you guys hear me? I'm hearing all the little
Yes.
part of what happens with people is they forget that they're a walking dichotomy, because being in a body is physical, yes, and the non-physical part of us is sometimes it's like squished into this body, and we forget sometimes that that's who we really are, and to be able to access that at any time can be a challenge if you're not aware of it or how to access it in a way that makes sense to you. So for me, it's all about connecting with your emotional body and your spiritual body, your physical body, your mental bodies, all the etheric fields that you have, and being able to understand them a little better and to be open to that. But for me, it's also about I'm assuming this was the question, Nikki, about connecting to spirit. Is that it? So for me, my whole thing is about our emotions are our guides, and that if we are feeling, for instance, guilty about anything at all, or upset about anything, especially the guilt demands punishment. So when we broadcast or we vibrate that guilt out into the world, then that is what we attract to us, is punishment, either through other people or other energy coming to us to punish, or we self-sabotage. And that is part of the reason why a lot of people in spirituality, in my opinion, they forget about that first, second, third chakra, that we're human beings and that we have to have, that element connected to us, and our physical body and our emotional body is not connected sometimes to our spiritual selves. And so that is also where, of course, prosperity and those types of things on a human level come through. Does that make sense? So being able to connect those parts of us, I think is key. So that is why I say choose innocence, because the innocent part of you is unique, and you have a unique signature on a spiritual level and an emotional level. But please do not bypass the emotional. We do a lot of spiritual bypass in this world, I feel. And I've traveled all around the world, and everybody has the same things. They all want to know that they're loved. They want to know that they make a difference, that they're loved, that they're safe, and that they're wanted. And those things can all be accessed through our understanding of our emotional subconscious beliefs that we sometimes stuff or push away or resist. And I say, trust and allow, and don't ask how. That's my little moniker for everything.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That's what we learn in Burge's courses. It's quite fun. Thank you so much. I just decided I was going to take a little break there, so wandered away, as one does in the middle of a question. So anyway, just before I wander off again, just go straight over to Dylan. Okay, your question was, this was from Peter, and he says, I am always poor. What can you suggest to me to so that to help me bring in the sort of money vibes?
So it's a good question. I think a question that everybody feels like asking, but very few people are brave enough to ask. I've got to say, I've loved what everybody's talked about today, and I'll be following all of you, because I think you've all got such magnificence to share. So I can't wait to learn more about what you guys are doing. The one thing I would say is understand this single principle, that your frequency is your currency. And quite often when people come from a financially or economically poor foundation, it's very easy to start chasing mechanical systems, whether that's learning how to invest or learning how to create a business or learning how to sell a product or whatever that might be. the temptation is to go straight to the mechanical system, straight to kind of trying to create more currency in your life. But if you go back to who you are and what your energy signature is, your frequency is your currency. So you really work on raising your frequency so that you can then take an expanded currency out to the world and create the financial abundance through your productivity, not through your consumption. So we've got like a 12-step model, if you like, that starts with, and like, how do you raise your frequency? What are the mechanical steps? Yes, a lot of it does revolve around some kind of esoteric and ethereal practices, surely. But what are the actual steps that we can take to raise our frequency towards compassion and courage and love? So number one, acceptance. Once you are able to accept the world for what it is and you for who you are, then you're able to rise from that place. Because the whole time you're fighting the world and angry at the world and upset with the world and looking at injustices, I'm a big believer that there should be no injustice. But when you see injustice and you try and fight it, actually that lowers your vibration and it reduces your potential to create a solution to that. So you must start from a place of acceptance. I accept the world for what it is. I accept me for who I am. I can only start from here, and from here I will rise. And once you're able to accept the world for what it is and you for who you are, then you can tap into step two, which is awareness of the present moment. So you accept, then you root yourself into the present moment. So you begin to use your sensory perception in order to kind of evolve into your non-sensory perception. And that's really what being in the present moment for me is about. It's about understanding what I'm experiencing with my senses, but what I'm experiencing from a non-sensory perspective. So acceptance, awareness, and then appreciation. So when I'm talking about appreciation as the kind of the third step, I'm really looking at what your ancestral DNA is, what your lineage looks like. So you understand what your place in your ancestral lineage is. Like, where was the extreme poverty? Who in your past lineage, and I'm not talking about past life here, I'm not kind of that far evolved yet, I have to say, but who in your lineage has perhaps experienced great riches or great poverty? So you begin to understand what your DNA, what your wealth DNA looks like. So awareness, acceptance, awareness, appreciation, and then you move round into the next three, which is really about what a lot what Burrs and I think Sally were talking about really quite eloquently about your self-identity. We live under the illusion of separation, and this is about creating an illusion of unity so that you go out to the world to create the financial abundance. And you do that through understanding your identity, your self-identity.
Wow. I don't know what just what happened to it.
Have no sound.
I don't think any of us can hear anything.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes,
I can hear you, Virg.
We,
we can hear each other apart from Nikki, I think.
yeah, there was a lot of feedback there. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And now, yeah. Okay.
And now she's disappeared.
Well, we can keep talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can't hear. So let's see.
Dylan, I couldn't hear the last part of what you were saying, so I'm sorry I missed it. It was...
Yeah, Dylan, we can't hear you at all.
No.
Can't do it all. Dylan.
Nikki, can you
Guys,
speak
I think
now?
we're going to have to do this again another day. Yeah, it's looked like I can speak now, but I think we're going to have to do this another day. Absolutely ridiculous.
Shall we just move on, darling?
There's
Shall
been
we
so
just
many problems.
carry
Internet,
on
it's
and
just
just plow
ridiculous.
through?
I have a 5G. Sorry?
Let's call in some help from Archangel Gabriel, and let's see if we can
I
get
have a
this communication channel open again.
Yes. We want a clear channel for all of us to be
Okay,
able to
let's
speak and to
try.
be heard.
Okay, that's the intention. Let's put it out there.
Indeed.
Nikki, what's the next question?
Right. Okay. Okay, right. So we were on to you've all moved round now, so that's floored me. But anyway, whose turn was it? It was Leslie's.
It was mine.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, fabulous. Okay, Leslie, well done. Right. Okay. So right, sorry, I can't even read my own writing now. So so instead of having a technical problem, I have a writing problem. Okay, right. It's about herb. I know, cool, huh? It's another one about herbs, and which is the best herb that you know about that would deal with some depression? What is there any sort of potion or something that you can suggest that would help with depression?
There are lots, and I think I'm going to use the analogy that Edward Bach and Bach flowers. I think you need to understand whether the depression is in relation to other emotions. So whether it be that you're afraid and you're not prepared to walk forwards, whether it be anger that you've suppressed and turned it inwards. So the piece to actually look at when you're looking at herbs is to stand in front of the mirror. I love the mirror, and to have a conversation with yourself when nobody else is around and say the things that you want to say to other people. Even if it is, I feel angry. I'm afraid of going out there and meeting somebody. I'm afraid of putting myself out there. I don't trust myself. I don't have the courage. All these emotions have a level that we can deal with. And once you start to get a picture of where you're at, then there is so much research. And as Angela said, there's so many, you can Google anything these days, but you can get an idea. And I think the resonance comes in and allows you to find what it is, which herb that you feel resonate to work with. I mean, I work with all herbs at different times. I would, I change my own potions on a regular basis. I if I'm working, for example, I've actually got by the side of me my own love potion. Where's it go? There you go. That's my one I'm taking at the moment. And that's because I wanted to open my, I came up against something that I was working through myself about self-worth and self-love. And we all have this onion skin that we, just because we're on a spiritual path and we are working with all our modalities of energy, of, intuition, herbs, whatever modality that each and every one of us has honed into, there's always going to be something that comes up. That's why we're having a human experience. So I think the piece for asking about depression is, where is it coming from? What is it that you're actually not willing at this particular point in time to open the lid on and start to explore that? Then go into finding the herbs that work with that aspect.
Great, thank you. Fabulous. I think the archangels and the angels were actually helping us, because even though Dylan seems to have been expelled, we can at least hear everybody else who's on here. I think we're taking turns to who's going to be thrown out next. So Burge and I have already been on the
oh, Sally, Angela, and myself, we better wait. No, we're calling it.
Yeah.
The intention is we've got the calmness for all of us to speak what everyone wants to hear.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, doke. Right. Okay. So we are back on to Angela. Okay, so in the meditation that you were doing, you were playing music.
Yes.
Could you explain a bit about what types of music they were? And she heard you saying something about various hertz. Could you explain what the different hertz and things and the music that you were playing mean?
Okay, so I'm a trained sound healer as well as everything else, and I'm a huge fan of the solfeggio frequencies. Now, you can find loads and loads of them on YouTube. My two major go-to solfeggio frequencies are 432, which is something which is absolutely wonderful just to have on in the background during your day, or 528. Now, 528, it's the frequency of deep cellular healing. It's the frequency of love. There are lots more, but my guides have got really good at using my technology, and I'll sit there and I'll say, right, can you just bring up what I need today? And they'll bring it up for me. And equally, when I'm working with healing clients and I send them something to listen to while I work distantly with them, I sit and I'm told which frequency that they need to help supplement the vibration of the energy healing that I'm channeling. So, and that's different for everybody. And so, yeah, there's loads of it on YouTube. If they look at solfeggio frequencies, they'll actually get some more information on where they all come from, and just have some fun and experiment. Because we are vibrational beings, we all vibrate at different rates. And therefore, the frequencies that best attune with us are going to be different for each and every one of us. So, and they may be different on different days as well. So just go and search and Google and have a look on YouTube and see what you find, basically. But I mean, there's so much more out there. I mean, Leslie, I don't know if you're aware of the work of Jill, I can't remember her surname. She's actually isolated the frequencies of herbs, and for some reason her surname escapes me, but I absolutely love her work. It's a Canadian lady, and I'm sure as soon as I come off, I'll remember her name. But, she's, there's so much out there. Jonathan Goldman is a huge idol of mine, and he's done so much work popularizing sound healing. But it's there for all of us to enjoy. It can enhance our everyday life, our spiritual life, and, all aspects of ourselves. So have some fun with it. I hope that's answered the question.
Yes, it has. Thank you. That was superb. Okay, so we're going to just go around everybody, just to say, what you're known for, or what's your the thing that you like teaching the most, and also obviously underneath this video afterwards, when I've cut it up so that all the parts where we were sort of missing are going to be put back together. So hopefully we'll have a really nice fluid video. So I'm obviously underneath, we're going to put all about your contact details, and everybody can always see them on the actual login screen. So if you just all like to take 2 minutes each just to go through what you love teaching the most and what you're working on at the moment. Okay, so Sally, you're up.
All right, thank you. So I my fame name, I suppose, is the What's Next Advisor. And I work with people to guide them to identify and get rid of limiting beliefs so that they can design and live the life that makes them come alive and love what's next for their lives. And my signature program to assist people in doing that is called Reboot Your Thinking. And we start, it's a 12-step program, like so many. And we start with physics, the nature of reality and how that impacts us. Because as we've talked, you know, we're frequency, we are energy, and each of us vibrates at a different frequency. And what does that mean for me as a spiritual being? I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. I want to balance that, right? I don't want to be so heavenly minded that I'm no earthly good. And so how do we seek that balance? How do we incorporate the true nature of our beings and develop spiritually so that we're not living on the mountaintop? We're coming down from the mountain. Once we get that message, we hang up, right? That's what Alan Watts told us. And so I guide people through that process. Part of that process is, how do I get rid of all of that programming that holds me back so that I can discover and recover and then live my true nature? So that's my passion. That's what I love to teach.
Okay. Microphones. I think I'm going to leave mine, leave it open before I allow me to speak. Okay, Angela, you're up next.
Oh, thanks, Nikki. The tag beneath me is translated into English. So my business is Cariad Spiritual. Cariad is the Welsh word for love. And it's really bizarre how some systems do that. They just change it into English automatically. So I'm known as the practical mystic. I'm incredibly practical. Everything I teach has to have a practical application because, as we've all said, we are spiritual beings having this human experience. So I teach intuitive development. I teach different healing modalities. I work as an intuitive coach, and I also have some availability these days, not so much as I used to, for spiritual guidance and channeled readings. There's all sorts of different things that I offer. A lot of people say it's confusing because I do so much. So just have a look at my page and see what resonates. Yeah, but I just want to say, all of these wise souls that I'm sharing this space with right now, I just would love to be in a room with you all. I just would absolutely love it. So thank you for the invitation, Nikki. I've loved being part of today.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay, Burge, you're up next.
I'd like to be, we are in a room together, Angela. Right now, we're in the room on the planet together, right? So,
yeah.
But definitely having touch is important. So I guess I'll start with essence of being. That is what I have been teaching for almost 30 years now, and I've been involved in personal development on all different modalities. I'm like you, Angela, I do so many different things that it is confusing at times. But that is, I've been involved in this for almost 40 years now. So I work with children, with teenagers, with adults, with companies, and essence of being really is about taking personal responsibility and understanding your own worth and your self-worth, and allowing yourself to trust again, because a lot of us forget that, and being able to learn how to contribute again, that giving and receiving is the same energy. I love teaching that, and that we are all important and that we all matter, that no matter what we do or who we are or how we show up, that we do make a difference, and to not sweat the small stuff with all the emotional baggage that we could have. And so again, I really delve into the subconscious beliefs, and we do so many different processes and modalities that I use through all kinds of ways to be able to move through them, and not only move through them and become aware of them, but to really understand the essence of your being. And then we've developed the Conscious Leadership Academy from that, which is essence of abundance, essence of relationships, essence of success, essence of leadership, and essence of communication. And I think those are the pillars for us to be able to contribute, to have integrity, and have purpose in life, and be able to build a global movement, conscious leaders empowering others to create a win-win world. And that is my passion. And I start very young with children and then the whole system. We were building schools in Africa, and I'm teaching all around the world for people. Like I said, the whole idea of this is to really understand that give as you go and create a flow, and trust in the wow, and don't ask how. And that the only failure is the failure to participate. So for me, I like to take these concepts and put it into bite-sized chunks for people to really live through and be a demonstration. So I am just thrilled to have been able to be with you all with this whole particular experience. And I find it fascinating that we have all these things happening, because it's not just me that has these issues. So yeah, and so I channel also Shamanasta, which hopefully all of you will be able to experience as well through the summit. And we've also been able to do a lot of things with Nikki and her visionary Italy place, very magical. So I'll be doing that again. So you go to essenceofbeing.com and check it all out.
Fabulous. Thanks, Burge. That was absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay, last but not least is Leslie.
Hi. Thank you. Yes, I agree, Angela. We all want, and we all want that physical peace again, don't we? When we've all been, in our countries, you can't jump on the plane, and we all say, arrange to go and see. So all those people out there that are listening, we are here and we will be there. But we are sharing with you at the moment. I think mine came from childhood and being guided by my family to be an intuitive healer, and it never to be closed down. So like everyone else that's spoken today, I use lots of modalities. I've got Divas Being Divas, and the spelling is very chosen. Divas in the goddesses, and divas because we are badass, and we're going to do something in this planet and make this planet work for all of us. And I use that to encourage, to develop us as beings, so that we all can be the best version of ourselves, but also as bring everybody up with us. My big thing is we don't leave anybody behind. So as we grow, so everyone else grows, and so everyone is on this journey with us. Even if you have to sort of put your hand behind you, and as we do with our children, and sort of bring them with us when we're trying to go somewhere. Same with everybody on the planet. And I think that's our responsibility as spiritual beings, is to share, to as you said, giving is receiving, and that peace is so much part and parcel of what I do. So like everyone else, I delve in to the beliefs we have, but I use herbs to support that growth, because sometimes we need a little bit of gentleness to allow us to open ourselves up to that vision, that growth that we know that is ours, and that peace. We all know everything. We just came here to remember it.
Awesome.
Great stuff. Thank you. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for all your dedication in the advent of these technical glitches, but we are now out of it, and we want to thank the angels and everybody for enabling us to get through to the end. So thank you guys. Really appreciate you all. Many blessings to everybody, and also everybody who's listening. So take care, everybody. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.